childhood. My mother. I want them back.
I literally thought this movie was a standalone movie that was not linked to any already established franchise. Furiosa, one of the first trailers that was released for this movie, it was about a girl kidnapped from her home. She spends the rest of her life trying to find her way home. And also there's a bunch of motor vehicles that look like they're racing each other. And then later on when they added a Mad Max Saga, that didn't register in my head, okay? I don't know what Mad Max is. And I thought a Mad Max Saga was like the equivalent of saying this movie was like a Netflix original. I thought Mad Max was like either the director or the production studio that created this movie. Yeah, I was really dumb for thinking that. I went into this movie sort of blind. I didn't know it was a prequel to like Mad Max Fury Road, which was a popular movie a few years ago. Really, the only reason I even watched this movie was because of Anya Taylor-Joy. I did not know what I was in for. I was kind of confused why there were so much vehicles racing around, but I guess we find out it's Australia in a dystopian future where a bunch of war happened and then all the resources were depleted and the environment was destroyed, and now it's just a wasteland that groups of people are fighting over control for. Furiosa, the main character, comes from this place, this secret place called the Green Place, because it's like a paradise. Apparently, it's a place of abundance, a secret place that not many know about. But one day when she was young, a couple of bikers from another gang, they discover this Green Place and she tries to kind of mess with their bikes, but she gets caught and then they kind of take her. Her mom kind of tries to chase after the biker people, but then the mom gets caught and she gets tortured, and we learn that these biker gang people have this leader called Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth. His fake nose made him very hard to recognize. Before I go into the plot of this movie and start spoiling everything, I'm just wondering if this movie was made for people like me. I don't know if they were targeting like fans of Mad Max, because I feel like they were both trying to appeal to the fans of the original Mad Max. At the same time, they wanted to focus on not Mad Max. Like, Mad Max was not in this movie. If I had not researched after watching this movie, I wouldn't even have known like why it was called a Mad Max Saga. And I also heard that this movie like flopped at the box office. Kind of sad, because this movie is actually a really good movie. I thought it was really well done. It was very enjoyable. It was weird to hear that it's not doing very well. The main reasons that I've been hearing is because it's like a female heroine. People are thinking this is another one of those Hollywood girl boss movies, so people don't want to see that. And then I think the other reason, in this day and age, the economy is bad. Movies is not what people want to spend their money on anymore, especially now that there's streaming services and other avenues. This movie got pretty good reviews by the people who did watch it, and I liked it. I don't know if I was the target though. I watched this movie even though I wouldn't normally watch this movie, but the only reason I watched it was because of Anya Taylor-Joy. I mean, maybe I also watched it because it was a female lead. I don't know if it matters. I don't think it does, because I mean, if they had like Timothée Chalamet as the lead, I probably would have watched it too. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting that they did focus on a female character, and she actually does stand out in this movie because, first of all, Anya Taylor-Joy does a really great job portraying the character, and also everyone else in this movie, it's like 95%, 99% like males. Like, everyone fighting in this wasteland, all the bikers, all the freaky people spray painting their faces. I don't even know what these people are, honestly. This whole Mad Max universe was very intriguing to see for the first time. It was weird to me that it was so heavily vehicle focused. When I first saw this, I'm like, why are people driving? Why is this like a race? But it's not really a race. They're not even racing. They're just driving around from like town to town, and then they're ambushing each other on the road. There's a lot of cool contraptions, and these vehicle designs are really insane. But I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, but I guess it's just the theme. It's just the theme. It's not my kind of theme, but I guess I liked it. They kind of had a little bit too much of that. This movie dragged on a little bit near the end. Could have been slightly shorter because I felt myself kind of pulled out of the experience. I got kind of numb to the action, but maybe that's just because I'm not really an action person. Overall, it was good. I wanted to see more of the world. The world seemed really cool. As a first-time adventurer in this world, I don't even know what I would call myself. It was really cool to see the Citadel, how it was just on mountains. I don't even know if they'd be called mountains, but it's like giant rocks, and then they grow plants up there. And then the leader of this citadel or this guy. His name is Immortan Joe. And he's not the main villain in this movie, but the main villain in this movie is Dementus, Chris Hemsworth, because he tortures Furiosa's mom in the beginning. Furiosa, she has been out to get revenge from Dementus for killing her mom. Dementus tries to bargain with the citadel. He tries to take it over and then he doesn't succeed. And then there's another place called Gastown. Immortan Joe's brother is the leader there, but then Dementus takes that place over. He's like trying to negotiate with Immortan Joe. They're gonna trade gas for food because Citadel grows food on the top of the rocks. Gastown produces gas. They seem to have very limited resources, but gasoline seems very abundant. They're driving around all the time. They're not even trying to create fuel efficient vehicles. I guess that does make sense that these type of vehicle societies would evolve when you have an abundance of gasoline. Everything you have an abundance of, you're probably going to build your society around that resource. Dementus ends up trading Furiosa because Immortan Joe is interested in her. He's like, oh, she looks like a healthy youngling that has been untouched. She is pure and pristine and pale. And so he like takes her to be one of his wives, I guess. He has multiple wives that are locked in this vault, but then she ends up escaping because she's quite clever. Even as a kid, she was very clever and skilled, and she ends up escaping, and then she kind of hides among the workers, or like the men, the workers, the boys. She blends in for the next couple years, and I'm just like, this is really strange that Immortan Joe never questioned how she disappeared, or nobody ever discovered that she was a girl hiding amongst the guys. And yeah, eventually she grows up. She's out for revenge. Actually, she's still trying to get home, but at the same time, she also wants revenge from Dementus. She also ends up making a friend. I don't know his name, but she ends up trusting him and they develop this pretty close bond. I almost thought that he was gonna like betray her or something, but this movie is not a movie about betrayal. Eventually, Dementus catches both of them. It was not gonna be a nice little love story where they do escape together and make it back to the green place. No, it was none of that. He ends up dying, and then she ends up losing her arm, and then she has a metal arm. But by the end, she does catch Dementus, gets her revenge. Even though he's like supposed to be a villain, I never saw him as like super evil. He had like this teddy bear with him the whole time, and I was like, oh my god, I can't even take you seriously with that teddy bear. I didn't ever see him as like super evil. Like I almost thought they were trying to make him more of like a gray character. I mean, the only reason we hated him was because he killed Furiosa's mom in a brutal way. But other than that, I mean, what he was doing seemed quite normal. He just wanted to be a leader. He wanted to control the wasteland. We don't ever learn about his dark past, but it sounds like he went through a lot of bad stuff. In the end, when Furiosa was trying to decide what to do with him, how to get her revenge, he's like, you know, you're just like me. It doesn't matter what you do to me. You're not going to get your mom back. I can't give you back what I took. I feel like killing him would have been like letting him off the hook. For a moment, I almost thought that they were going to like team up or something. She was going to accept that she became him, and they were just gonna be both kind of like this evil duo. I don't know what I was thinking. This is also like one of my favorite parts. Before her mom died, she had a peach seed that she gave Furiosa, and she's like, when you make it back home in the future, you make sure to plant this seed so it can grow into a peach tree. She ends up putting the peach seed, I guess, in Dementus's body, and then he's just forever growing as a tree. It was just like growing out of his groin, and he was still alive. And it was just sucking all of the nutrients and energy from his body. Has he obtained immortality? Is he just going to be alive for as long as the tree is alive? Because trees can live a long time. I don't know how long peach trees can live. This reminded me of the Lost Tomb movie. If you haven't seen it, it's okay. But basically, the key to immortality in that freaking movie, the humans and the trees became like a hybrid being. That was the key to immortality. Just combining yourself with a tree. It also reminds me of when I was young and I would eat watermelons, and sometimes I would accidentally swallow a seed, and then people would tell me it would just start growing in my stomach. I was so scared. But yeah, that ending was kind of cool. And then it kind of leads into the next movie, Fury Road, that I don't know about, where she actually helps the wives escape Immortan Joe. I don't know if this movie made me want to watch the next movie though. For me, I thought it was good as a standalone movie. I don't know if I would continue to watch movies. I guess if they did make another movie, I might watch it. But they do have another movie because this is a prequel. Thanks for watching this video. See you guys in my next video.